Hey everybody, welcome back to session 4.3 in my FileMaker for Stage Lighting series. I'm Mike Wood, and there's really nothing to talk about today, so let's jump right in. So we left off last week. We had gotten image capture successfully working, and previous weeks we had got EOS turning lights on and off working. So today really what we're going to be doing is combining those two things together and then looping them so that we can come up with a script that allows us to do a light by light thing or just a one-click focus, document your entire show kind of thing. So what I want to look at first here is the EOSLink stuff that we set up before. This was back in, I think, session 1, maybe 1.6 or something like that. And where do we put that? We put that under, I guess, just an EOS layout here. And all we've done so far is UDP strings. We haven't touched OSC at all, which maybe one day I'll get to. Not 100% sure yet. But let's look and see what settings we had. We had an IP address, we have a port number, and a user number that we want to send on. And that's really all that we have. I'm going to switch that over to user 1. And of course the message we want to send. So what I want to do over here, I've got Nomad running. I'm going to be doing my stuff today, since I don't have an actual stage with a camera to show you lights. I've got a screen capture thing set up with augmented, so we'll actually be able to see some lights turn on. But for now, let me go ahead and just clear everything out. And I want to double check my settings to make sure that they match between the two programs. So this, the data you're going to see in here today, I pulled in a new show file that I'm working on just so that I had a patched rig. The data we had been using previously was for a show, but I didn't have it actually patched in the console. So what I would recommend you do today, if you don't already have a show patched, it doesn't have to be an actual, moving light kind of thing like this. Go ahead and patch yourself just 10 dummy dimmer channels, 1 through 10, something like that, so that you have something to turn on while we're doing this demo. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our settings. To get there, I am going to go to open up my CIA here, set up system settings, and I am going to double check, where is show control. I'm turning everything off for today just to make it as simple as possible. The only thing I'm turning on is string UDP, and I'm saying, yes, I want to receive string UDP, and then I want to make sure that my receive port here matches my transmit port here, which it does, 3033. Looks like I am good to go. And of course, I don't have to set up anything on the transmit side on EOS because all I'm doing is sending data to EOS. So receiving port here, transmit port there. I'm going to go back to live. And then I'm going to hit the create, before I hit the create socket button, let's open up the data viewer again. And I want to hit create socket. You see it's created that socket. And again, if this is new to you, I recommend you go back and watch chapter 1 so you can get all this stuff set up. But we're pretty much good to go there now. We've got our connection set up. And if I go back to my focus assistant here, I should, let's go to channel 1, be able to turn a light on. Look at that. Good. And sneak it out. Perfect. And of course, this sneak uses the sneak time of the console. So I'm going to leave it as is for now. It looks like mine is maybe 1 or 2 seconds. And just to double check, we'll go to channel 2. Great. So we know that those scripts are still working. And that's really the first step in making this work. So we've tested that. Next thing I want to do before I move on, I just want to make sure that my photo capture stuff is still working. So I'm going to go to admin, AV devices. Of course, I have my cam link here. There I am. I know that that works. But what I want to do today, I'm going to use my NDI receiver. And there we go. There's an augmented rig. And it should, yep, as I select things, there we go. We're able to see all of that. Good. Okay, so we know that that works. I'm going to go ahead and close it for now, but I'm going to leave NDI video for me as my selected device. Again, you could just use your webcam for now, whatever you want to do to make this work. Excuse me. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and link these things together a little bit. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at that script, the TurnOn script, and I want to just kind of analyze it a little bit because it's been a while since we've looked at it. So in that turn channel on script, it looks like I only have 3 steps going on. I'm setting a channel variable using a script parameter. So it looks like on my layout, when I click that button, I'm passing along the channel number as a script parameter. The message itself, which is going to pull in the EOS user that I had predefined, and then chan, and then the channel variable full, and then finally it's going to tell MBS to go ahead and send it on the socket, or using the socket to the IP on the port with the message that we have created. So we can really use these same steps or use this same script. The only thing we have to be aware of is this script parameter and how we're passing the script parameter along to our new script. And then of course the sneak is the same thing. It's just changing, instead of full, it's telling it to sneak. So we're in pretty good shape already. This is going to be pretty easy. Today's going to be a pretty quick session, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new script down here under my AV Capture Scripts folder, and I'm just going to call this script, let's call it Turn On and Capture. So what it's going to do is it's going to turn a light on, and then it's going to capture a photo. Excuse me. So we'll do some housekeeping stuff first. Set error capture on. Allow user abort on. The allow user abort on this particular set of scripts we're going to do is important, because as we start to loop through records, if you notice something going wrong, if you don't have allow user abort turned on, the only way you really can get out of it is to force quit FileMaker. So we want to make sure that that's turned on. And then there are two schools of thought of how we could do this. I could either copy paste these script steps into this script, could do that, or I could perform the existing script from within this script. And that's what I'm going to do today. And the reason for me kind of goes back to that idea, a lighting concept of absolute versus reference data. If I take these script steps and I copy paste them into my new script, they've now become, absolute script steps. If if EOS changes something in how I have to turn lights on and off, I don't want to have to go worry about doing it in 6 different places. I want to be able to change one script and have it be updated throughout my entire solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say perform script. I'm going to say turn channel on. And then you notice I'm able to pass along a parameter here. And since I'm going to probably always run this script from a channel layout, I could make that parameter be instruments channel, just like that. So now I'm going to perform that script with that parameter. Now I want to pause this for a second, because I want to give the EOS enough time to turn it on. Depending on what camera I'm going to use, it might need to autofocus. So I'm going to give it a second after I've turned the channel on. Then I'm going to perform another script. And you guessed it, this script is going to be, where is it? Capture photo. And there's no parameter needed there. I'm going to do another delay of 1 second. And then finally, I'm going to perform one more script, and that's going to be the sneak script, or the release script. Channel sneak. And again, since I just copy-pasted this earlier script, I didn't need to redefine that parameter because it's already going to be there. And that's really all I have to do. I'm going to go ahead and save this script for now. I'm going to come back over to my actual solution here, and I'm going to go to the photo capture layout that we made before. And let's go ahead and before I do that, let me go ahead and start my session. So I'm going to go back to AV devices. I'm going to say NDI video, and I'm going to start preview. So now I've got my preview window running underneath. And now I can go back to photo capture. Okay, so now with this open, I don't have to necessarily make a button yet. What I could do is I could just have my script editor down here, go to channel 1, and when I click play on this script, it turned the light on, it captured the photo, and it turned the light off. Just like that. So already pretty simple stuff, pretty easy to see how this is working. Now, of course, you might think, okay, well, 1 second worked for this particular case. What if I need to adjust that? What if I want to make it a little bit smarter? You absolutely can, and we're going to get to that in 1 second. If you notice here, it allows you to specify a calculation as well. So you could set up a field on your admin table, you could set up a global variable, you could even do a local variable with, where you could put a user input for how many seconds that is. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to just do a pop-up box that asks you how many seconds you want to delay things happening. So I'm going to say show custom dialog. This will be, say, alert. And the message will be specify capture delay, something like that. I don't know. And then I don't know if we've done this yet. Of course, we have our two buttons, OK and cancel, but we can look at the input fields over here, and we can actually make an input box show up. And that input box could be a variable, and let's make it a global variable of delay. And give it a label of delay. So now what will happen is, instead of it just being a text box that pops up, it'll be a text box with an entry field, and whatever I put into that entry field will be passed along into the global delay parameter here. Just like that. And then, as you would imagine, I want to change these pause resume scripts, or script steps, to be delay. And now you might be wondering, why did I do that as a global and not just as a local? In this particular script, you could do it as a local, but once we get into the looping script, you will see why it's more handy to have it as a global. So now let me go ahead and I'm just going to get rid of these photos real quick. I'm going to run this script again. Boom, now it's got a dialog box. Let's say I want to make it a 2-second delay this time, and I hit OK. Light just turned on. Photo just took. And now light is going to turn off. There we go. You could go even faster with it. You can do decimal numbers as well. So let's try that real quick. If we did 0.1, see, with 0.1, it didn't quite get it. The light didn't have enough time to turn on, didn't have enough time for it to capture, etc., etc. So this is going to be very dependent on your system, on the lights that you're using. Obviously, an LED is going to work faster. The same thing for the sneak. The sneak, you could hard code the sneak time into your FileMaker, or you could use whatever your console sneak time is. But you're going to have to figure that out for yourself really on a show-by-show basis. I suppose you could even get more sophisticated with it, where, since we know what kind of types of lights we have, maybe you could have a field that says if it's an LED, make it a sneak 0. If it's an incandescent, you do all that kind of stuff. But I'll leave that up to you all to figure that out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is creating a looping script to go through and do all of our images at once. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier to visualize and to give me a kind of an interesting layout to look at is I'm actually going to create a specific layout just for this. So I've opened my layout manager by doing Command-Shift-L, and you can see I've got instrument photo capture already selected, since that's what I've been using so far. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to call this instrument photo capture, maybe just all. And then for views, I want this to be a list view. So I'm going to get rid of form view, get rid of table view. I always want it to be showing up as a list. And now I'm going to, maybe I'll rename this one too while I'm at it, the original one to photo capture 1. That way we know what's what. I'm going to open this photo capture all layout. Close and you notice the difference between the two right away. This one only had a single record. This has all of my records now, like that. I'm going to close the original one, and I'm going to edit this one just a little bit. Command-L to go into my layout editor. Make my window a little bit bigger. And really all this wants to be is going to be a kind of just a quick and easy way to see all of the lights in my show at once, and to be able to see what I've captured a photo for and what I haven't. So I'm going to make these maybe a little bit smaller, put them here, maybe make the channel number bigger. If you looked at my preview image on Instagram for this session, this is what we're creating right now. Get rid of some of the padding here. Great, so that gets me a 5-digit channel number, which I think is probably good for all of our purposes. And then what I'll do is up here in my header, I'll give myself a couple of labels, and I'm going to move all this stuff up nice and tight, and you'll see why in 1 second. Make these just a little bit bigger. I've got channel there. The cool part about copy pasting these like this is that you're copy pasting the layouts or duplicating the layouts is that my sort buttons and stuff like that all still work. So they'll still work in this layout because I'm using the same table underneath. We called this our clean photo, and we called this our annotated photo. I'm going to put these two buttons right here. And then I'm going to make the body part as small as I can. And then when I go back into browse mode, now I've got a list here of basically all my channels, which of course I can sort by channel number, et cetera, and there's the images I've already dropped in there. One thing I also want to do, it's kind of, I don't like the way this looks to not have the fields showing up in here. So if you go back to your layout editor, you right-click anywhere on the empty space here and you go to Layout Setup. There's a checkbox here that says Delineate Fields on Current Record Only. I'm going to uncheck that because I want my record or my fields to be delineated on every single record in the database or in the table. And now you see that those boxes are all showing up there, just like that. Okay, other cool thing we could do, we can make this kind of look a little bit better. You know, this empty white box is fun, but what if we wanted it to, you know, what if we wanted it to be obvious that nothing had been inserted in it yet, and it wasn't just an error where it happened to capture a white square or something like that. So to do that, I can actually set up, a placeholder text here. So I could say photo. I could actually put text there. And when I go back to browse, you see it says photo. Or what I like to do to make it look a little bit cooler is come over here to the Emojipedia, and I'm going to grab the camera emoji and just copy it. And then in this placeholder text, I'm going to paste that emoji right in there. And now when I go back to browse, now I've got a cool little camera icon there. And maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. To make it a little bit bigger, I'm just going to change the overall text. Whoops. Change the overall text size for that field, so maybe make it a 50. There we go. Now I can see what I have and what I don't have. I'm going to go ahead and close the Emojipedia. Don't need that anymore. Okay. And now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a third button over here after capture and annotate. And I believe, you know, last week we did link this so they both do the same thing. So I'm actually going to just change, instead of this being the capture photo script, I'm going to have this be the one we just made, the turn on and capture. On and capture. Like that. So now if I go to 2 and I turn it on, see it's asking me for my delay. Let's make it a 1 second this time. And there it is. Come down to 3. Now what are you noticing right away? It's getting a little annoying to have to specify that time on every single click. And if you start to think about, okay, if we're going to do all of these, we don't want this to happen every single time. But if I do want to still have this button existing here with this script, I need some kind of way to leave this script step in place, but be able to disregard it if I've already set that delay time, if that makes sense. So I'll come back to that in a second. I want to clear these photos. And we're going to go ahead and work on our looping script, and you'll see what I mean in a second here. So I'm going to create a new script, and it's going to be called loop turn on and capture. And once again, I'm just going to copy paste these friends here. For now, I am going to move this. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to move that dialog box over to this looping script. And now I want to make sure, I could do this in the background if I wanted to, but I want to make sure that I'm coming to this particular layout to watch it happen. So I'm going to say go to layout. I'm going to choose the all capture that I just made. And then just to be safe, I'm going to say show all records. And then I'm going to say sort records, turning the dialog box off. And of course, I want them sorted by channel number, which they already are. And then I could actually put a second thing in here. Maybe I'll do channel and channel and then unit number. So for instance, if you have two lights, two free together with the same channel number, this gives you just one more, it'll sort by unit number next. So a little bit helpful there. Okay, and I've specified my delay interval. Oh, wait. And then I want to go to record, the first record. And now I'm going to start a loop. So I'm going to type in loop. Perform script, and the script I'm going to perform, of course, is turn on and capture. And then I'm going to do go to record next, and then make sure I turn on exit after last. So what this script will do, let's walk through it one more time before we test it. It's going to do all my fun stuff up here. It's going to pop up that dialog box asking me to specify a delay. Then it's going to go to this layout right here. It's going to show all records, just in case I had hidden some before. It's going to sort those records by channel so that it goes through channel order. And then it's going to go to the very first one. So if your first channel is 1, it'll go to that one. And then it's going to perform the turn on and capture script for that channel. Once it finishes, it will go to the next record, and then it loops back to perform script. It'll keep doing this over and over and over until it gets to the final record, and then it'll exit the loop and be finished. Great. So let's try that. Let me click play. Got to save it. It's going to ask me for a delay. I'm going to say 1. And now we're just going to sit back here and kind of watch this work. And if you notice in that photo right there, it still had a little bit of, I'm catching the trail of the previous fixture fading out. So I'm going to mash my escape key really quick, which is going to abort the script. I should have. Cancel. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change my sneak time over here in EOS. I'm going to go to user settings, manual control. Yeah, my sneak time is a 5 right now, so I'm going to make it, let's make it a 1. And now let's try again. Let me turn everything off. And let's do this. Capture delay of 1. Now what you're noticing is it's overriding what's ever in those container fields already. Oh, did it still? No, it looks like it's working better now. Okay. No, it's still getting it in there, isn't it? Huh. So hit escape and then come on, there we go. Yeah, it still looks like it is getting the one previous to it. So I'm going to change this to a 0, I guess. This also could be issues with NDI and lag. You might not deal with any of this in real life. So let's try it one more time. And this time I am going to make it maybe a 1.5 second delay. There we go. That's better. Now it's getting it one at a time. And of course, I'm not going to sit here. We're not going to wait for all 300 instruments in this show to photograph, but you get the idea. And then, of course, in the background, what's going to be happening, if we go back to that review folder that we set up last week, remember, it's actually exporting all of these images as it's doing this. So all of these, there's the clean images, and it's going to be mad at me because it's, there's that, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you wanted to go through really quickly, you could even disable that within the scripts, and it would go a little faster for you. But quick way to get all of your focus photos in there. Okay, so then let's look. I think one more thing I want to look at today, and that is how do I make sure that this specify capture delay thing, how I could set that on this individual level if I want to go manually one thing at a time. So if I drop it back into the turn on and capture script, now when I do this, it's going to do it. But it's going to ask me every single time. So what I could do is I could put this show custom dialog inside of an if statement, and I could say if is empty, delay, then show it. So this would basically only pop this up now if there was not already something specified. But I could leave this one outside of it. So this, again, you're gonna have to figure out what works for you, because maybe sometimes you do want to do this, and maybe you do want to have it individual for each one, maybe not. Totally up to you. Now, one thing I did notice as I was doing this is, EOS still had channel 14 on over here in the background, and this had these two photos I manually captured had that left on. So maybe what I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm doing like a full release before I turn these channels on. And to do that, I'm actually going to create another EOS script. Where are my EOS scripts? Why can't I find them? EOS integration. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to take this channel sneak, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it sneak all. And I don't need the channel variable anymore. And my message is going to be sneak 0, right? And that should clear whatever's on my... okay, I need to clear, so it's going to have to be two separate messages. It's going to have to be... The first one's going to have to be clear underscore CMD, I believe, right? Let's try that. There it is. Okay. So to make a sneak all, because I'm using UDP strings, I can't just send a full command line like that, like I could with OSC. So what I'm saying is I'm sending clear command first, clear underscore CMD, and then I'm sending sneak 0. So that'll basically just wipe me out. You could do a go to queue out, I suppose, there if you wanted to as well. Totally up to you. So now in this turn on and capture, I'm going to just put in one more script step here. And it's going to be sneak all. Of course, that does not need a parameter. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. The person who just commented on the thing, I just messed up my timings. And so I'm going to put this delay in between here as well. Okay, and let's test that. So let me just turn some stuff on. If I say like 40 through 50 at full. Of course, those are all out in the house. I managed to choose the one things we can't see. 1 through 30 at full. There we go. And I turn on and capture. One delay, second delay. It's going to turn everything off. Good. So that works well, and if you notice now, we've got a little redundancy here. So instead of maybe doing the individual channel sneak at the end, I'm going to disable those for right now. Maybe I just sneak everything at the beginning. So to disable those, I selected them and I did command /. Now when I do it, it's going to turn everything off and turn it on. And of course, since my looping thing uses this script, it'll do the same thing. So as you can see, there's like 8 different ways you could turn your lights on and off, and this really is all going to depend on your personal preferences and how you like to lay out your, or how you like to lay out your focus photos. Some people like to turn on an entire system kind of at a low light level and then bring them up one at a time. You could do that. You just have to be able to kind of keep in mind how to program those things. But these are the building blocks to make that happen. What I'm showing you is the more extreme turn light on, turn light off. And then of course, it might be harder if you have a person running into each light. Maybe that looping script isn't right for you. Maybe you do just want to go through and do the individual clicks so that somebody could, go from light to light. And maybe you want a separate button. Maybe it's a turn on, maybe it's a capture button, maybe it's annotate button. All of those things you can customize for your particular workflow and figure out what works best for you. Okay, what else do we need to look at today? I think those are the main things. Yeah, this was only a half hour, which was great. Of course, the one thing we should look at is actually doing a focus chart layout. Have we made one of those yet? Printed report? We did. Focus charts. Okay, well, so yeah, I don't even really need to do that. In my focus chart, I could come in here and just change this focus image to the annotated one and be good to go. And then, of course, if you don't, all this annotation stuff you don't care at all about, what you could do is I could take, you know, my instrument type field, drag it on, make sure it's in the, or make sure it's in front, and that's the same thing. I mean, I'm printing a report with the annotation there. So lots of different ways to do the same thing. Are there any questions for, I know we have a smaller audience today. This is a very, very niche thing that we're doing, but are there any other questions that are coming in that I can answer for you? I'm going to go ahead and run this loop script here. Just let it do its thing. Oh, that's what's happening. I forgot to... crap, cancel. I accidentally got rid of my if-then statement here, which I want. If is empty, delay, save. Now I can loop. Great. Now it's going to do them all. Of course, I can come over here to EOS and watch it as well. I don't know if you can see it on the screen behind me as well, but it's, you know, it's happening. It's working. And of course, we can go to diagnostics to see all of those various messages coming in. Just like that. The other thing you could do then, let's say you don't want this to overwrite anything that's already existing. This again is just another set of if-then statements that you can throw into your script. So let's abort our script, and then within the loop, I can say right here, if is empty, and then I can specify a container field there, which was, I believe, instruments. Whoops. If is empty, focus photo. So now what it's going to do is it's going to go through and say, you know, if there's something already there, don't override it. But if there isn't, then do it. Then override it. Question came in from Joel. Is there an easy way to set up a range to do? For example, choose only lights on electric 1 position. Yeah, let me think about that for a second. The best way to do that. So what I would do in that case is I would make this script a little less all-encompassing, and the way that is when I say all-encompassing, it's this show all records step. So instead of show all records, what I want to do is to be able to be able to sort it not in the script. Okay, I think I'm getting where you're going. So what I want to be able to do is only show the records of whatever I currently want to be looking at. Did we set up a... We didn't. Okay, so we didn't do like finds and stuff back then? That was dumb of me. We did it by work note type, but we did not do it for instruments. Okay. All right, let me do something real quick here. So by channel. So there's a couple ways we can do this. You can if you go back and look at how we set up these buttons for our work notes, this bar right here with showing specific types of work notes, it can be a similar thing for showing specific groups of channels. What I'm going to do for now though is just show you how to manually do it. We created a show all button already. You can hit the find button here, and then let's say find position. Where are we at? Number 3 electric. And then when I hit enter, there it goes. It's going to... Why did it not show me? Find number 3 electric. That's strange. Okay, well, I'm going to show you how to hard code it for now. Instead of show all records, I'm going to disable that for now. And we're going to do a perform find. And we're going to say find records where instruments position. Of course, this is what I had just done, so I'm going to leave it in there. Instruments number 3 electric. Just like that. And now, if I go to this, and I show all, and I run it, is there nothing on the number 3 electric? Is that my problem? Sorry, everybody, doing it live here. Oh, maybe. Oh, there is nothing on the number 3 electric. That's very strange. Okay, well, I managed to pick. Okay, I don't understand that though. There's 3 electrics in the show. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, let me do it a different way. I don't know what's going on there. I would need to dive into the file. So maybe instead of a position, maybe if we did it by type. So if I say instruments, instrument type, oh, I see, equals, I forgot the equal sign there, duh. I think that's what it was. Let's go back to our all. Huh. Can it find anything? That's not what I wanted. Find, sorry, I know this is very boring for you all to watch me figure out what's wrong here. Okay, so it finds channels just fine. Let's add our position field back onto this layout. So now if I do find number 1 electric, okay, so so it has to do with using the hashtag or the pound sign there. I would need to escape that within my script. So to escape a character, it's going to be a backslash in front of it like that, or I could just get rid of it altogether. I could say find number 3 or find 3 electric, and then okay, save. Now let's try this again. There we go. So that was the issue. It had to do with that pound sign. I didn't think that that was an issue. This is a new thing for me. Maybe I did know this in the past and I have forgotten about it. But if you wanted to include that pound sign, the escape character in FileMaker is a a backslash. So if you put a backslash before that pound sign, it would find it for you. Otherwise, I'm not 100% sure what that is doing. But great, we all learned something new today. There we go. Now it's doing the 3rd electric for me. Great. And of course, as you might imagine, that's hard-coded. But what I could do is I could make this a little bit smarter. So in addition to having this show custom dialog box for this, maybe I could put one that says specify position. And then we make this maybe a local or a global variable that says position. And then we change this find over here to be a find equals position. I guess that could have been a local variable, didn't need to be a global. That's what we get when we wing it like this. Okay, so now if I hit play, delay of 1, position, let's do 2 electric. There we go, now it found those. And so hopefully this gives you an idea of the building blocks. Obviously in this particular example I had to know the exact name of the electric, but you could easily build yourself a layout that could pass along that, that over to your thing. I guess I've got a couple minutes, I might as well do that. Let's do it live, why not? Let's live on the edge a little bit, right? Okay. So in this layout, I'm going to make my header a little bit bigger. I'm going to move this stuff down. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do a... What's the best way to do this? What is the best way to do this that is going to be easy to demonstrate? Well, you know, here's what we do. So remember before when we had, when we did our data entry and we had this instrument thing and we created these scripts with these little magnifying glasses right here, right? That chose, you know, show me everything of this purpose, show me everything of this color. And here some more comments came in. Arrange by focus palette. Yeah, absolutely. You could do it by palette, preset, whatever. Presets get a little bit more complicated, you know, because then you have to turn the light on in the particular preset. But yeah, that's the right idea. So I'm going to take this magnifying glass. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back over here to my Autocapture all. I'm going to paste that on there. And find by field. Okay, so we got to look at that script. What did that script do? Find by field. Okay, we didn't do looks like we didn't do a position one, so I'm going to add position. And this is all good, and then we just need to do an else if down here. String found set to instrument, not instrument type, but position equals position. Change. Okay. Okay. Looks like we need to do this one too. Been a while since I've looked at this particular script. Find where the records position equals position change. Okay, great. And then Joel also asked to choose a range of channel numbers. Yes, you could do the same thing. That we could actually. I'll look at that in 1 second. Let me finish this one. Great. So we know. Great, and then. Where do I set search? Oh, right here, script parameter. So I need to set the script parameter. Got it. Okay. So here, my script parameter is going to be position. Lovely. I'm going to show all my records. So now if I'm in here, show all records, and we'll sort by channel. Let's say I just want to see 2B electric. I click that. Oh, because again, that pound sign is there. I swear that wasn't an issue in things I've done in the past. Okay, so what we can do here, I'm going to show you a new thing to get rid of that pound sign in your search. So I've got instruments position here. I'm gonna cut that for a second, and I'm gonna do substitute, and I'm gonna substitute instruments position. I'm gonna search for pound sign and replace it with nothing. And now let's try that 2B. There we go. So basically what I did is instead of position just getting the instrument position field, it's doing a substitute function of getting rid of the pound sign from the instrument's position field. Great. So now what I could do is on this loop thing, is I could get rid of this find altogether, right? And because I'm going to be able to specify those things from within my layout as is. So I could even get more complicated if I wanted to. I could have, I could put more fields on this. I could have color, and I could do a search by color, and then I could click, start the button and do it. So for this one, there's only 4 lights. If I hit play, oh wait, let me cancel. I forgot to make the cancel button do anything. Let this run real quick. Yeah, we don't actually need this position dialog anymore. And then really this entire second half of this script should be wrapped in an if statement that says if get last message does not equal 1. Basically what that's doing is it's saying if I didn't click OK, then don't do the thing. Great. So that's that. Now for channel numbers, let's think about how we could do that really quick. This is going to get a little bit more complicated, but I'm up for a challenge. So let's duplicate this. This will be the last thing I do today before I mess myself up even further here. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call this TurnOn channel range. Let's think about what we need to do. So in this, we need to be able to specify a start channel. We need to be able to specify an end channel. Oh, whoops, I'm getting a phone call. I need to be able to specify a start channel. I need to specify an end channel. And I need to then go through those things, go through those channel numbers, and exit the loop once I get to the end of that channel number. Great, makes sense. No, fields to sort do not have to be on the same layout, Joel. Okay, so let's look at this. So I'm going to move all of this stuff down to the bottom here at first. And let's do, I'm going to get rid of this capture delay. Let's just say specify channel range. Now here I can actually do 2 fields. So oops, I'm going to do in this first one, start channel. This is going to be start. And I'm going to also specify end. Okay. And just to test it, I'm going to disable these for now and just run this. And so now, yeah, specify channel range, start channel, end channel. So that works well. Okay, so now we still want that. We still want to go to this layout. But now we want to, how do we want to do this? We want to go to a record. No, we want to perform a find where, get rid of that. And our find is going to be channel equals start like that. So again, I'm just going to do one step at a time. Disable these. We'll do one step at a time here. Oh, I gotta enable this. So now when I run it, I'm going to say start with channel 3 and end with channel 5. Okay. Got to show all first. Show all records. Start with channel 3, end with channel 5. Oh gosh. Channel end, show all records, perform find, channel. Oh, I need a double equal sign there, I believe, right? Yes, to match the whole field. Ah, yes, because what it did, okay, I see. Oh, no, it didn't do that. Well, let's try it. This is driving me nuts, everybody. Okay, so let's go to our script debugger and see what I'm doing wrong here. I apologize. All right, I'm gonna play. Error capture on, user abort on, specify channel range, start channel 3, end channel 5. Okay, let's also open up our data viewer. Start 3, end 5. Great. Oh, it's not even doing the thing. Why isn't it doing the thing? Let's just get rid of this if statement for now. Oh my gosh. Come on, FileMaker, you can do it. I'm just going to get rid of this if statement, make it a little simpler. Okay, so show all. Select a random one here. Run. Starting with channel 3, ending with channel 5. Okay, great. So that worked. So it found the first channel for me. The next thing I'm going to do then is to go back and say show all records again. The reason for that is it's basically allowing me to jump to channel 3 being the currently selected channel. So if let's say I was here and I was in channel 84 selected. When I run this, it's going to say, all right, channel 3 and channel 5. Now it's got 3 selected, but it's showing everything else as well. And now we're going to want to sort those records by channel number. Let's try it again. Starting with channel 3, ending with channel. It doesn't matter for ending for now. Great. So now you see I'm in the script, or I'm in the list of layout or of records here, and it's starting with number 3. So now I'm going to re-enable some of this stuff. I don't need this sort anymore. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to get rid of this loop again just for simplicity's sake. Oh, not the loop, excuse me. I'm going to get rid of this if statement just for simplicity's sake. Great. So now what it's going to do is it's going to do the thing with the first one. It's going to go to record request page next. And then I'm going to say exit loop if. I'm going to calculate this. If the channel number is greater than the end number. And I'm actually going to throw that up in the beginning here. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to show all the records. It's going to find whatever your first one is and go to that one. Yes, it's going to sort them. Okay, let's see if it worked. Let me clear these images for now. So I'm just going to specify 4 through 5 here. Run. Starting with channel 4, ending with channel 5. Go. 4, 5. And it went to 6, but it didn't do anything with 6. So a quick way to capture the two of them. You could also, let me try something really quick here. Going to disable those for now. I'm just doing a quick test here, so please ignore me for a moment. Let's say channel 31, 35. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I was right. This go to record request with calculation, this you have to know the actual record number, and it's not necessarily the channel number. So, oh wait. I think. Let me double check that. 21, 35. Yeah, that didn't work. So yeah, so the way I did it before, the way I did it before was the right way. Stop. Okay. So yeah, so there's your channel range, stuff. Now, of course, I did this using the dialog box. You could also easily do this using fields on your admin table or fields here on this layout, for example. I just did it this way for time's sake. Great. Any other questions come in? I apologize that got a little complicated there, but that's what we get for figuring it out live. I think we learned a couple of new things, especially the escape character stuff, and yeah. And again, my main goal for here is to give you the building blocks, and I think that hopefully I've given you enough of those, and you can now take this and run with it a little bit. I don't know when the next chapter of this will be. I'm thinking about what I want it to look like, what I want it to encompass. Something that's been pointed out a lot is some people want to do follow spot stuff. I really want to do that, but it gets very complicated very quickly, and so I need to make sure that I have the time that I can dedicate to doing something like that. I also want to do one on styling and kind of creating an admin layout and stuff like that, because so far we've been throwing a whole lot of stuff into our file, but we haven't necessarily been doing a great job of making it look as good as we could. I'm sure some of you are. Some of the pictures that you've been posting and you've shown me, the stuff that you guys have been making looks awesome. I, of course, have not been. I think mine looks very ugly. So maybe I'll do that next. That's kind of a simple and easy thing. But other than that, you know, I'd love to hear your suggestions for what you want to know more about when it comes to this. I've got, if you go to mikewoodld.com/FileMaker, I do have a request form there. So if there's a topic that you want me to cover, we can throw it in that form, and I will try to get to it as soon as I can. Luckily, work is somewhat picking back up, so I don't have as much time as I once had, but I will try to keep these up. Other than that, the only other thing to talk about, I'm going to be doing another Magic Sheet live stream next Tuesday night. It's been like 2 years since I did one. It was actually the very first live stream I ever did was on Magic Sheets. So I'm going to be doing that one on Tuesday night, creating a Magic Sheet for my next show, which is actually the show that you're looking at here in the augmented window. Just another little concert down at City Springs. But yeah, so that's that. If there's any other questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat or reach out to me on social media. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Thank you again so much for bearing with me today, and I hope you had a great time.